imagine a bishop as a homo. He comes with his homosexual partner to minister to the sheep. But your pastor is a lesbo.
Sometimes it becomes quite hard to listen to, particularly when Pastor Semper starts doing his impression of a gay man talking.
We're equal, just like you. Just like you. We're equal. You marry, I marry. You have children, I can have children. No, you can't have children. But I can adopt.
Well, Pastor Semper, that was quite a performance.
Well, thank you. I consider it a duty to make sure that we get the word out. Although I regret that you may not be used to such long services, I sometimes kid that we may qualify for the Guinness Book of Records for the longest church service.
Can I be honest with
Yes.
you? I haven't heard so much hatred in a church for a very long time.
What particular did you find?
Hatred for homosexuals. The way that you imitated their voices, the way that you obviously had a real hatred in your heart for people that were different from you and what you thought was right.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
I'm surprised you found my voice hateful or my opinion hateful. As a matter of fact, we consider homosexuality a sin. And we do not tolerate sin. It's an evil. So I don't celebrate homosexuality. If you were thinking you would come to a church where homosexuality was to be celebrated, I regret you came to the wrong church. That is what's gone wrong with the church in England. The church in England has gotten to the point where they are allowing homosexuals to marry. We cannot understand the madness. How an archbishop or a bishop could get to that level. It's a taboo. And I think what you've seen here is the difference between our culture, between Christianity. The Christianity of Europe celebrates homosexuality, celebrates gay pride. They are out to march along with gay pride. We can never march with gay pride. That is an abomination. We could never do that. And God says to us, do not tolerate evil. So I've shared with you 4 stages.
Can I just ask you, sir?
Yes.
Why are you so obsessed with homosexuality? Why not about other sins? There's all sorts of other sins. What is it that really disturbs you and makes you full of hatred?
You know what I find is when you have a prime minister of England deciding that he's going to use his position as a prime minister to export sodomy in the rest of the world. When you have a president of the greatest republic in the world, America, using his pulpit and his funding to export sodomy, do you expect us to keep quiet? I think it's completely unrealistic for you, Mr. Simpson, to think that we should bury our head in the sand. We mourn for Europe.
It's nonsense.
We mourn for your grandfathers who brought us Jesus. We mourn. We mourn, we see a race that will not be there. Europe is taken over by Arabs. Muslims have taken over your country. Your children starve themselves. You laugh about it. You don't want to talk about this.
This is nonsense.
You come over here and condemn us. We weep for you. What can we do for you?
I don't know, you can...
We beg you.
This is nonsense.
Abandon
this
sodomy. It will not take you anywhere.
This is an act.
You've never seen me. I weep every time I talk about sodomy. His heart is hardened about sodomy, but he would bear the bad
But
news.
theatrics apart, why all this upsurge of feeling in Uganda against gays now? Campaigners here blame the explosion of influence from evangelical churches, many of them with strong North American links and a lot of American funding. The Watoto Church is one of the biggest of them all. You can see from the way people are reacting here that the Watoto Church does address genuine needs among ordinary Ugandans. People find it deeply satisfying. When it comes to the gay question, the pastors at the church are thoroughly on message. They know it doesn't play particularly well in the West if they rage on camera against homosexuality. So the precise line for them to follow has been carefully set out.
Tell me your view of homosexuality.
I am not going to tell you my view of homosexuality. I am a pastor of this congregation, and I represent this congregation, and I represent the entire body of believers in Uganda. So what I'm going to do is to give you our statement. Watoto Church adheres to the biblical standard of sexuality, recognizing that it is a gift from God to be enjoyed only within confines of a monogamous heterosexual marriage relationships. Watoto Church is in favor of pro-family legislation that reflects and preserves this biblical standard, providing security for all members of society. Watoto Church remains committed to providing help to anyone grappling with the moral and sexual issues of life.
What does that mean?
I've just said it.
Because I found it difficult. I mean, I'd like you to tell me what you think about homosexuality. Not what
I have told you, and that is my stand. That is the stand of our church, and that is my stand. It is a statement here.
That's all you can tell me about that whole issue.
Exactly.
What about the legislation that is being proposed?
This statement takes care of that. That we believe the Watoto Church is a pro-family legislation. That means the bill is a work ongoing. And so we are saying, let's wait until the bill is out, the parliamentarians sort it out.
So, the question I asked Pastor Franco, but he didn't really want to answer it. When it comes to the issue of homosexuality, when you have Western powers, Western countries saying this is a matter of human rights, of the basic rights of human beings, what do you say to that?
Well, I still subscribe to what the Bible says. And the Bible, we believe, as our statement said, that sexuality was created as a gift from God and to be enjoyed. And we preach that in our church. Sex is a great thing. It's an enjoyable thing within the bonds of marriage, and that's the way God created it to be. He knows us best. It's like the maker of a car knows how the car works best. We believe God is our creator. He knows how we function best. So the way that He describes in the Bible healthy sexuality should happen is within a heterosexual monogamous marriage, and within that it's healthy, and that's the way it was meant to be. And so we subscribe to that. And when people say no, it's against human rights, to say that, we don't think that it's against human rights. We believe that we're just subscribing to the owner's manual. The Bible we consider the owner's manual.
So if there's a vehicle that doesn't subscribe to the owner's manual, should it be destroyed? Should there be execution for people who are gay?
I'm not in a place to even answer that, because I don't.
No, come on. We all know whether we think it's right to hang people or not. Well, what do you think? Is it right to hang people?
It's also all right for you to honor our views, and also it's also good for you to know that we have taken the bill.
I asked you a question. Is it right to hang people who do something that you think is wrong?
I'm saying it is not right to hang people who we don't believe even in the capital punishment. We don't.
It's in this bill.
We don't believe in capital offense. That's what I'm saying.
And so I do believe that that provision, when Parliament begins to debate, will certainly, I think, change it really. Because
so the death penalty will be dropped?
I believe. There are lots of strong feelings about it from the religious community here, and I'm one of them. I don't believe that that provision is particularly important, and so yes, it's likely to be removed.
At the Tea Cozy Bar, where gays gather in Kampala, plenty of people would agree wholeheartedly with that. There's no doubt that things have become a great deal more difficult for them in recent years.
Before, life was hard, but after the tabling of the anti-homosexuality bill, there's been increased harassment and violence. Life is getting really difficult because my safety is not guaranteed. I cannot do my work easily. I cannot live as a human being easily.
Even assuming that the death penalty will be dropped from the homosexuality bill, the whole tone of the national debate here has become much fiercer. By sticking to their traditional religious beliefs and refusing to follow the moral changes that have taken place in the West, Ugandans are offending the very countries that they've been traditionally closest to.